Michael here, looking at Psalms 94 for our devotion today, a psalm which may be subtitled, "The Lord will not forsake his people." And we're focusing on verse 4 to 6 for the exposition. Let's go ahead and read the first 6 verses of this psalm. Verse 1. O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth. O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Verse 2. Lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. 3. Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? And verse 4. How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? Verse 5. They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. And verse 6. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. And as we look to the treasure of David for the exposition, let's go ahead and read verse 4 again. How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? And Spurgeon exposits. How long shall they utter and speak hard things? The ungodly are not content with deeds of injustice, but they add hard speeches, boastings, threatenings, and insultings over the saints. Will the Lord forever endure this? Will he leave his own children much longer to be prey of their enemies? Will not the insolent speeches of his adversaries and theirs at last provoke his justice to interfere? Words often wound more than swords. They are as hard to the heart as stones to the flesh. And these are poured forth by the ungodly in redundance, for such is the force of the word translated utter. And they use them so commonly that they become their common speech. They utter and speak themselves. Will this always be endured? And all the workers of iniquity boast themselves. They even soliloquize and talk to themselves, and of themselves in arrogance of spirit, as if they were doing some good deed when they crush the poor and needy, and spit their spite at our gracious men. It is the nature of workers of iniquity to boast, just as it is a characteristic of good men to be humble. Will their boast always be suffered by the great judge, whose ears hears all they say? Long, very long have they had the platform to themselves, and loud, very loud, have been their blasphemies of God, and their railings at his saints. Will not the day soon come when the threatened heritage of shame and everlasting contempt shall be meted out to them? Thus the oppressed plead with their Lord, and shall not God avenge his own elect? Will he not speak out of heaven to the enemy and say, Why persecutest thou me? In verse 5 that reads, They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They break in pieces thy people, O Lord, grinding them with oppression, crushing them with contempt. Yet the men they break in pieces are God's own people, and they are persecuted because they are so. This is a strong plea for the divine interposition. And afflict thine heritage, causing them sorrowful humiliation and deep depression of heart. The term thine heritage marks out the election of the saints, God's peculiar interest and delight in them, his covenant relation of long standing to them and their fathers. This also is a storehouse of arguments with their faithful God. Will he not defend his own? Will a man lose his inheritance or permit it to be contemptuously despoiled? Those who are ground down and trampled on are not strangers, but the choice and chosen ones of the Lord. How long will he leave them to be a prey to cruel foes? And verse 6 that reads, They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. They deal most arrogantly with those who are the most evident objects of compassion. The law of God especially commends these poor ones to the kindness of good men, and it is peculiar wickedness which singles them out to be the victims not only of fraud, but of murder. Must not such inhuman conduct as this provoke the Lord? Shall the tears of widows, the groans of strangers, and the blood of orphans be poured forth in vain? As surely as there is a God in heaven, he will visit those who perpetrate such crimes. Though he bear along with them, he will yet take vengeance, and that speedily. Yeah, sometimes like God, God, don't let them get away. Sit high and look low. Execute thy vengeance, O Lord. Indeed. Trust you enjoyed the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.